On May 14th, Kyrie Smith was walking along a sidewalk in the village of Cary, Ohio, with his wife, his child in a stroller, and his dog, when Officer Snyder from the Cary Police Department was seen parked nearby at a stop sign. The officer waved toward Smith, and in response, Smith raised his middle finger toward the patrol car. What may have looked like a brief moment of disrespect quickly turned into a much larger confrontation that would soon draw serious attention. The interaction that followed was fully captured on camera, and the footage immediately raised questions about free speech, police authority, and how quickly a simple gesture can escalate into a tense public encounter.
What's up, man? Hey, it's cool. It's cool. You can record me because I'm recording you too. All right. Next time I wave at you, man, you can wave with all your hands, man, all your fingers instead of just your middle finger.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one.
That's freedom of speech, dude.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you continue, man, and you want to act like this, I'll just take you to jail for disorderly conduct, persistent disorderly conduct.
I believe this.
So continue to walk and don't say a word. Don't say a word. I'm going to take you to jail if you continue. Continue walking.
You want to know a civil suit on your hands, motherfucker? You better
Continue
go.
walking.
You want your sergeant down here right now.
Continue walking.
Call your sergeant.
Continue walking.
Call your motherfucking sergeant.
4200, send me another unit down there.
Sitting here with my kid and my fucking wife, and you're just going to sit here and harass me like this.
I waved at you. I simply waved at you.
One more time. And I went like this.
I'm at Clan West.
Couldn't even hold my hand up.
Look, all I did was I waved at you as a nice gesture to you and your wife as you were walking. Okay? And then you turn around and flip me off.
Your point?
Okay? So I stopped to ask you what your problem is.
Is that a crime?
It's disorderly conduct.
It is not.
It is.
Did I offend you in
Yeah,
some
there's
way?
other people walking around. Look at these people, these kids.
These kids that are seeing you yell at me?
Yeah, because I
Dude,
simply
get out
stopped.
of my face.
No, you're not free to leave. You're not free to go. You're going to stay right here. As a matter of fact, will you take the dog, please?
No.
Will you take the dog?
I'm not sure. He didn't radio out with anybody.
Come on with the disturbance. Okay.
Are you serious, dude?
Yep. Go ahead. You're not under arrest. You're being detained because you're acting hostile towards me.
Here,
You want another unit down here, so I'm going to send you another unit. My chief's actually going to come down
I'd
here.
like you to know my lawyer will be being called right after this.
Okay.
My family attorney.
All right. You're not under arrest. Okay.
I am being detained.
You
right now.
are being detained.
That means I am under arrest.
No, you're not.
I asked the crime I committed.
There's two different things.
I
Okay.
asked the crime I committed.
Come on over here.
Don't touch me, sir, please.
Okay. Well.
You say I'm not under arrest?
You're detained.
Hey, this dude's illegally arresting me right now.
You're not under
walking
arrest.
with my kid.
You're not under arrest.
Walking with my dog, and he is arresting me.
No.
Because I was walking with my dog.
You're not under arrest, man.
Swear to God, I have nothing.
Everything that followed during this encounter, including the stop, the threats, and the handcuffs, traced back to one single moment, when Mr. Smith raised his middle finger toward the officer. While many people may view the gesture as disrespectful, courts across the United States have repeatedly ruled that offensive expression alone is still protected under the First Amendment. In the 1971 Supreme Court case, Cohen v. California, the court made clear that the government cannot punish someone simply because their expression is considered offensive or unpopular. That protection has been applied not only to spoken words, but also to gestures like the one seen here. Even more important is the timing connected to this encounter. Just 2 months before this incident, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, which covers Ohio, issued a direct ruling on the same issue in Cruz-Gulias v. Menard. The court explained that any reasonable officer should understand that raising a middle finger toward police is protected speech under the Constitution. That decision was handed down in March of 2019, while this stop took place in May of the same year. Officer Snyder worked inside that exact federal circuit, which meant the legal standard had already been clearly established. This immediately raised major questions about whether the stop had any lawful basis at all, because the courts had already made it clear that offensive gestures by themselves do not justify police retaliation or detention.
Look at playing the back
4200, I got one detained. Come on over here.
You're clear.
Getting arrested here for nothing. My girl and my dog are over here.
You're not under arrest.
Why do I have handcuffs on me then?
Because you're being detained. Because you're refusing to identify yourself.
You never asked me to identify me.
I did.
Your camera's on, ain't it?
Yep.
My camera's on.
You said
Everybody's
you're not-
camera's on.
you're-
When did you say I want
I need
your
your ID.
identification?
I need your
I'll
identification.
have it on me.
Okay. What's your name?
I don't know.
You don't know your name?
What's the crime I committed?
Go ahead and kick your feet in. Kick your feet in.
Sir, can I talk to you?
Yep, this is my lieutenant. You can talk to him.
I was walking here.
I want to talk to my
Thank you,
officer.
Okay. All right, LT, so I'm sitting here at the stop sign, right? I'm just watching the stop sign as this guy and his wife and kid walk past. I wave as a nice gesture, so he turns around and he flips me off. So I turn around and come back here. I was like, hey, man, what's your problem? He goes, why'd you just, I wave at you and you flip me off. Is there some kind of issue? And his wife has been cooperative, haven't had any issues with his wife or his kid or anything like that. I said, man, what's your issue? And he starts cussing at me. I said, hey, man, you can't cuss like that. You can't act like that. You got people and other kids and stuff walking around here. So he refused to identify himself. I said, hey, you got an ID on you? He goes, I ain't got to identify you. So due to his hostile and turbulent behavior, I put him in handcuffs.
Well, at that point, you have a disorderly, don't you?
Right, exactly. So that's why he's in the
middle finger, but how he responded after you.
Yep, exactly. So that's why he's in the backseat of my car. He's still refusing to identify himself. So. Hey, Chief. I'm sitting here at the stop sign, like when you passed me a little bit ago. Gentleman walks past me, and I sit there and I wave at him and his wife as they're walking. They got a kid in a stroller and a dog. Okay. He turns around, and he flips me off.
Oh, nice.
So I flip around, I come back, and I was like, hey, man, what's your problem? I said, I wave at you and your wife as a kind gesture, and you flip me off. Is there some kind of problem? And then he starts getting loud and stuff like that. I said, hey, you can't act like that, man. There's other kids and stuff around here. Then he's like, oh, I'll falsify, I'm being harassed, and this guy's going to arrest me. I said, you're not under arrest, you're being detained. So he starts cussing. I got other kids and families and stuff walking out of the church. I don't know who it is. He's refusing to identify himself. Disorderly conduct? Oh, she's being fine.
Who does she say he is?
She hasn't told me that. I've been dealing with him, so.
All right.
So, disorderly conduct?
Yeah, if he'll identify himself and you won't, you have to take him out.
Yep.
I don't think it's against the law. You said it wasn't against the law.
All right, ma'am. All right. What is his name? Okay.
I don't want to disrespect him.
Okay, I understand that, man, but here's the thing, okay? Like I said, I waved at you guys. You waved at me, he flipped me off, okay?
What's going to happen if I give him his name? Nothing?
Okay, here's the situation. Let me just explain it to you, okay? So like I wave at you and you and your family, okay? Because I'm just out here trying to, community policing, okay? So when I see you guys, I want to wave at you and acknowledge you, okay? He flips me off, which, I mean, he can do whatever he wants. I come around here to make contact with him to say, hey, man, what's your problem? And then all of a sudden, you heard how he started to get loud, right? Okay, I got other families, okay? You can't disturb other families and things like that, because once you start doing that, now it's a disorderly conduct, okay? So either he just identifies himself, I write him a disorderly conduct ticket, and it's done and over with, and he goes on his way, or he refuses to identify himself, I have to take.
Officer Snyder described this entire encounter as community policing, but the action shown on camera painted a very different picture. He made a U-turn on a public street, stopped a man over a gesture that courts had already recognized as protected speech, placed him in handcuffs in front of his family, and then stood beside his wife, applying steady pressure until she eventually provided her husband's identity. The atmosphere on scene appeared less like voluntary cooperation and more like a situation driven by intimidation and lack of real choice. Genuine community policing is supposed to be built on trust, communication, and willing cooperation between officers and the public. What unfolded here appeared to create the exact opposite effect. In just a few minutes, the interaction seemed to damage trust between an entire family and law enforcement in a way that could last long after the encounter ended. The wife eventually gave the information being requested, but many viewers would likely question whether that decision came from free willingness or from the pressure created by seeing her husband already detained in handcuffs beside the road. The officer may have viewed the situation as successful control of the encounter, but critics would argue the result was deeper public distrust and another example of authority creating fear instead of confidence within the community.
Because a police officer...
Chief, it's Kieran Smith.
Is there something wrong with what I did?
Yeah, potentially. I'll have Levi run him real quick. 420.
I'm being detained right now because I went through way back at an officer he didn't like it.
Will you run Kieran Smith for me, please?
Here, clear, stand by.
I would like my lawyer called.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry it turned into this, okay? I was simply waving at you. I mean, if he doesn't like the police, that's fine. He's entitled to that, okay? Well, like I said, I turned around and see what his problem is. I don't understand why I go out of my way to be nice to you guys, and he goes out of his way to flip me off and then cause a disturbance after that, okay? Just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Okay?
Did he flip him off?
I didn't see what he did.
He's claiming that he raised his hand to wave at you.
No, it was clearly that he flipped me off, and then like I said, I just pulled up next to him to say, hey man, is there some kind of issue? I wave at you and your family, and then he wanted to get hostile with me, refused to identify himself, and at that point, now he's loud and causing a scene to other people.
Well, like I said, it's not really against the law to flip off the police like it should be, but
Right.
it would raise an alarm. I would approach someone and ask them to flip me off.
Yep.
At that point, if you became disorderly and you think you have a good case against disorderly, then
I'm just going to write him a ticket for disorderly conduct and get him on his way, since she identified him.
Officer Snyder ended the encounter by issuing a disorderly conduct citation tied to a gesture that the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals had already ruled was protected under the Constitution. The Cruz-Gulias versus Menard decision had been issued only weeks before this stop, yet the citation was still written anyway. What happened after the stop raised even more serious questions about the culture inside the Cary Police Department. Mr. Smith later went to the station to file a formal complaint against Officer Snyder, which is a right every citizen is supposed to have during situations like this. Instead of being calmly assisted or directed through the process, he was removed from the building entirely. That response became a major part of the controversy because many viewers saw it as a sign that criticism and accountability were not being welcomed by the department. The same agency involved in the stop also appeared unwilling to properly address the complaint afterward. Critics argued that this reflected a larger problem beyond a single officer and suggested a department culture that resisted scrutiny rather than encouraging transparency. Officer Snyder receives a failing grade for the way this incident unfolded. He stopped a citizen over conduct already recognized as protected speech, threatened arrest before any lawful basis appeared to exist, placed the man in handcuffs, and later gave explanations on body camera that became heavily disputed. He also obtained identifying information from the man's wife while the detention continued, and then issued a citation connected to conduct courts had already ruled protected under the First Amendment. Critics argue that the entire encounter, from the initial U-turn through the disorderly conduct ticket, raised serious concerns involving both free speech and unlawful detention.